All right. Today is July 23rd, 2025, but today I'm going to be reviewing my session from yesterday, July 22nd. Um, you'll see there were quite a few trades. Yesterday, I did not have a lot of the usual commitments that I do throughout the day, so I had time to sit at the desk and trade. Now, I do not want that to be confused with overtrading. I came to the realization a long, long time ago that the longer you spend at the desk, the more likely you are to make mistakes. And while my last trade of the day was a very big loss, um, I and we'll get around to it. I actually do think that this was a good trade. It just didn't end up working out for technical reasons, but we'll get there. Um, I do think that as my session went on, I was getting a little too aggressive. I was trying to force trades that were, suboptimal. And in a perfect world, I probably would have ended my session after this 13 tick win. I think this was the best trade of the day. However, I am at a point in my trading where I think that screen time is priority. I think um, I I am learning every day. I am improving every day, and for a trader to come to the desk and sit here for 5 or 6 hours every day and not improve, I think you're doing more harm than good. And that's not to brag or anything. There's still so much work to be done in my instance, and there are some days where I don't improve, but those days are very far and few between. Like I haven't had a truly bad day as far as like tilt, walking away from the monitor pissed off, or like breaking my rules and like blowing an account or anything in many, many months, and I'm very, very proud of that. But days like this, days where I'm down on the day and I'm taking a lot of trades and things aren't working for me, that happens all the time, and it's going to continue to happen. But the point of this review is to sit down and find out what happened and what I can do to avoid it in the future. So let's dive into my first one. Now, I may not have time to get through all of these trades. This may be a two-part review, especially when it comes to annotating all the charts, but I am going to try. So let's listen. So I'm short here. I think my idea is that we're going to take out this reclaim below us. Um, which actually ends up being an awesome idea. Um, I realized pretty early in the session, get rid of this. I realized pretty early in the session that reclaim fades were in play. We were putting in so much resistance into reclaims, and you'll see that this trade actually does go on to work pretty well. However, and this is something we realized also pretty early in the session, was that the the market was trying to fake you out so hard. So it would put in these tall moves, and you could see like basically the moment I entered, it rips against me. So I enter short here, and then boom, like 6 or 7 ticks drawdown. I'm actually going to turn up the speed on this a little bit. I'm going to sound a little weird, but that's okay. So off this first trade, and you're going to see that I don't really apply this lesson effectively. I should be entering on these wicks, these wicks against what presumably against my position, but they're actually a good thing. These wicks were edge today or yesterday, and I should have been utilizing those better. There.
Oh, shit.
I'm gonna take it there.
You did a pulse check?
I've been doing pulse checks. That was a trade. So I took that trade off. That was good. That was a solid trade. I could have gotten way more out of it had I again entered on the wake up. The reclaim fades. So see, they put in a small, and this is fractal. So this reclaim is working on the 30-second. It's fractal. There's a reclaim on the 3-second, and they fade into it. They take a partial on it and then they fade back down. I should be entering up there. That could have been a 10-12 tick winner. But you hear Fat Cat ask me. He says, was that a pulse check? And I say, no, that was a trade. And that's because if I rewind the video far back enough, you'll see that I was calling out pulse checks where, and for those that don't know, a pulse check is essentially just a mental trade. You say, okay, I'm short 29.50, and then you see hypothetically where that would have gone. And if your pulse checks aren't working, then you're confused. You don't have a good read on the market. If your pulse checks are working, then chances are like you've got a pretty good read on the at least the micro price action. So let's go ahead and screenshot that trade. I liked this one a lot, actually. Got flame
Did
shot
a pulse
going.
check?
Unfortunately, these are just gonna have the more videos fucking thing in them, but anyways. Alright. So. Had to sneeze there. Alright. So, let's start marking out the time frames. I'm gonna have to do these quick because I've got a lot to go through. 30-second, plus I think this is 5 ticks or something, and it was to the short side. 3-second. Let's mark out the reclaims. Let's do reclaim here, and then a reclaim here. Reclaim, fade, reclaim, fade. My exit was pretty optimal. I don't think I would have changed that. Deal entry, and then my exit. Did I have volume confirmation here? Don't think it was playing a huge part. Although I can mark this out. Let me mark this out. So, text, make that extra small. Uptrend on low volume. Move seems to be tapering out. So volume is not confirming an up move. If price was truly going to go up, we would see a confirmation of volume. Volume would be coming in. Reclaim fades have been in play for a few days now. This is a great example. Could have done better on entry. Wicks were key to entries this day. Cool. Alright, first trade annotated. Let's paste that. Means, I don't think there were any ranges at this point. Yeah. None. Slip favor, not really. I was kind of slip mid on it. Conservative scalp. Technicals, I had a reclaim fade. I should have a technical for reclaim fade. It's kind of a stop run because I'm looking for a move back down to here to lows. Reversal. Oh man, that's tough. So there's reclaim below us. Level 2, stop run. Ooh, that's tough. Yeah, I don't have a lot of technicals here. Yeah, that's tough. There was a lot of edge in the reclaim fades, so I'm gonna have to add a tag for reclaim fades. So I'll circle back to that later. Entry early, exit good. At this point, I was calm, I was content, I was patient, and I was very clear on the price action here. That is a green star trade. On to the next one. This is 3 minutes later to the short side. I think I'm essentially taking the same or a similar trade.
Be careful reprobing, or do you think you're getting?
I want to see it back below my entry. There we go. I'm going to take this off for 2 ticks. Got 2 ticks out of it.
Right.
So just a basic slip range play. Nothing too fancy about it, although we're later going to find out that I'm short at the bottom of a developing range, but that's hindsight. So let's screenshot this one. We'll do this super quick. I don't want to spend too much time on these. 30-second. Plus 2 ticks short. 3-second, and we got a slip range here. Good. Got liquidity here. We've got a reclaim fade here. I'll also highlight this one because why not? Alright, text, reclaim, fade. Reclaim, fade. Ignore the beeps. My entry was around here. And my exit was around here, I believe. Something like that. Move this a little bit in. Entry. My exit. And honestly, I don't think I would have changed anything in this trade. I didn't get the whole slip range out of it, and to be honest, I didn't really want the whole slip range out of it, because for one, liquidity's holding to the downside. Actually, let me mark that out real quick. There's liquidity holding to the downside, and this could be more liquidity holding. Boom, boom, boom. One, two, three. Liquidity holding. Careful on shorts. to bottom ranges. Price could bounce off liquidity. As indicated by 30-second. Good. Paste that in there. Upload. No ranges yet. You'll see a very, very heavy range develop. Slip favor, conservative scalp. I had a micro PVA because this was developing into a PVA. I had a little bit of reclaim below us. This was also a reclaim fade. Both can be true. And then I'm going to mark liquidity area. I wasn't trading into it per se, but I do think it's important that it played a factor in my trade. Entry good, exit good. I wouldn't change anything about that. Calm, content, patient, clear, green star, and on to the next trade. I don't want you guys to think I'm rushing through these, but I mean, we got a lot to get to, so I'm going to try to get through these. At least this first chunk of trades were pretty self-explanatory, and they were good trades. It's not until later that we start getting into the real meat of my session, and that might be a two-parter. Like, I might have to upload this review in two parts, or piece the two reviews together. So let's jump into this next one. This is a loss, and I hold it for 1 minute and 12 seconds, so I'm going to skip around. It's a bit of a puke. I'm going to try 35. Got it. So same thing, I'm trying to fade the reclaim.
Second. There could actually be an area right below us.
So I wish I took it off here.
Donk donk.
That was kind of happening a lot to me today, where, and I'm almost curious that if I hypothetically took every trade off today at 3 or 4 ticks profit, I think I would have had like a fucking 80% win rate or something. I think my MFE was really good on almost all my trades today. I just held them a little too long. So let's keep watching here.
No problem. Offers are weak.
I don't like that this is compressing. I'm gonna get out of
Are
it.
you long?
No, short. I took a 2-tick loss on it. Here's a tick loss. And I think that was a good idea because it keeps just steamrolling.
No.
Yeah. So let's go back. I think this was a great exit. I don't like the screen. Second. Minus 2 ticks. Short. Second. And then again, I'm looking for a reclaim fade. So not pictured. Reclaim fade. Fade. My entry was at, what is that, 34.75. So I think it was here, and then I get a few ticks profit. Right. Was it for a minute? That's definitely not a minute. Was it back here? I think it was back here. No, there's no way I got multiple points out of it. I think I just got those. Fuck, I really don't want to have to rewind this video. Was it here, maybe? I'll watch it on my phone just because I am a little confused here. I want to make sure I'm nailing this. 4131. Gonna mute my mic for a second. Okay, never mind. This was a very short trade. Sorry about that. So my entry was here. My exit was here. And I think this was a very good exit. Entry. My exit. However, I do think I should have taken it off for a couple ticks. I do exit. And then I'm just gonna put a little blurb. Decent trade. Decent trade. Got out exactly when trade wasn't working, but should have taken the few ticks. MFE. And the reason I took the trade off was because we are pinching. I don't think I had any volume signals, although volume still tapering. Paste, upload. Still no ranges. This was slip none, I'm gonna say. Conservative scalp. Reclaim, and I wanted. There is compression, but it's compression against me, and I don't really want to signify that. Liquidity area. I need reclaim fade tag. Maybe I'll do that after I tag this trade. My entry was good. My exit was late. I should have got out earlier. Calm, content, patient. And I did think I was clear on this trade. I'll give it an in between. But overall, I still like this trade. Let me go add a reclaim fade technical. Reclaim fade. Just choose some bullshit color. Reclaim fade. Cool. There's a bit of a puke. And I think my last two trades have been reclaim fades. Was this one also? Yeah, this one was also a reclaim fade. Alright. Next trade. I got it.
Fuck.
This was long though.
Oof, they cranked that one really hard.
Yeah. See if they reclaim this.
You might want to go for a break even if it comes back.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Took a 1 tick loss on it. Yeah, that was a very good exit. I'm gonna even get a screenshot of it here just to signify that. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Annotate this really quick. My entry my exit. Exit. All right, so I think what I was thinking here was we were starting to develop a slip range. So I'm going to write slip range question mark. And I wanted to like stop run all of this shit up here. We were also kind of channeling, but I don't think this was part of my idea at the time. But I do think I was looking for a stop run. I thought we were gonna blow all that shit out upwards. Liquidity holding. Let me mark those out real quick. I also want to mark out this one just because. Go. Boom, boom, boom. Holding long. Reclaim, fade, and then I'm looking to take back this reclaim, and then we put in my timestamps, 30-second, -1 tick long, 30-second. Great way to exit a losing trade. Idea was decent, but maybe flipping by these too quick. And again, I'm entering on a pinch too. Let me write that. Sub optimal entry. Clearly pinching. Not entering on WEG. Good. Paste that, upload. I'm feeling pretty good so far. No mean, although I was starting to get a micro mean. I think I thought I was. So to that favor for now. Slip favor. Slip none because I didn't enter on the slip. Conservative scalp. We had a reclaim and a reclaim fade and a stop run. Yeah. My entry was early, but my exit was good. Calm, content. I'm gonna put maybe patient at this point because the fact that I swapped bias so quick might be an indication that my patience is starting to thin. But we'll circle back to that later. And then clarity. I'm gonna put confused just because I don't think long was the right idea here. In hindsight, you're gonna see the long was actually, if had I entered on the wick down, I think long would have been a good idea. But just for the sake of this trade, I'm gonna say no. And I'm actually gonna red star this one. I'm gonna yellow star it because I think I managed it really well. Losing trade. And then let's jump to my next one. 13 tick. When I am gonna have to cut this review short here in a couple minutes. But that's okay because I will circle around and do a part 2. So let's watch this one. I'm gonna
They
take
just
it
fucking spoofed it up.
37.25 short. This was a
That's
really
fine.
good trade. I remember
They
this
just
one.
spoofed it up. There's a tall Wix here. Up here, 75 to be ultra conservative. Man, it's got a tall Wix low though. That's not good.
Yeah, I want to see them take back this Wix.
I need a scalp. I'm gonna take a tick out of it. If it works, it works. But they're putting in tall wicks, trying to get it to go down. Oh, you still in it?
Yep.
These 3350s, dude, I would highly recommend exit.
Yeah.
Like, it's stalling a lot. You should probably really consider it because it
Yeah,
can
I
come
just took
back.
it out. 34.
Good job. You took the trade that I bailed on right as it went. I took a sec.
So you see me take a deep breath there. That was a rough one, man. I mean, in hindsight, it's not a rough trade. It was really easy, actually. It went instantly in my favor, essentially, and it went all the way to target, pretty much. But I mean, when you're holding a trade for that long, for such a big move, it is stressful. And I was hoping for the bottom of the range, and actually, if I play it, I think we do end up eventually getting the bottom of the range. Let me see. There's a pullback here. Oof, that pullback would have sucked. Yeah, so never mind. That would have stopped me out. Am I actually going to signify that in my... Actually, no, I can't. Let's go back so I can see the entire trade play out. Just let me screenshot this. I'm gonna get my buy order in there. Alright, so this is going to be a pretty in-depth one. So, first things first, I'm going to highlight this box. Notice how there are 1, 2, 3, 4 dojis in a row. Four dojis. 4 dojis in this box. There is a clear resistance. I'm going to highlight that again. clear resistance, 4 dojis. I don't think the channels are in play quite yet, although there is a developing slip range. Developing slip range, so I am slip favor on it. 4 dojis in this area. What was my entry? 37.25, it looks like. So I think my entry was like right here, I think. Fuck, that's a really good entry. I pretty much fucking nailed this trade. There's also a micro slip range. Slip range, I'm slip favor on it. We got some reclaims. 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 Reclaim, reclaim, reclaim. 4 dojis. A slowing of uptrend and Asian. Topside liquidity holding. A little arrow pointing up. Plus 13 ticks. Long. I'm sorry, wait, this is fucking short. Just delete that. I think that's it. So we have a developing slip range, clear resistance, 4 dojis signifying a slowing trend. Reclaims to the downside, multiple. Breakout of a micro slip range, which I'm slip favor on, which is perfect. I think that's it, man. I think that's kind of beautiful. Let's highlight some volume confirmation. Volume confirmation. Up, down, move. Okay. I like that a lot. I think that's a fucking really good trade. So let's paste that in there. Ideally, this is probably when I would have liked to end my session, but I won't beat myself up too much because, as I said earlier, I was we actually mean favor on here, and we're mean favor on here, slip favor, conservative. Actually, this was an aggressive hold. As I mentioned earlier, I was trying to push myself today. So what I might do is I might split up the session here. Let's finish tagging first. Reclaim and a reclaim fade. Liquidity area reject. And a stop run below. I think that was what's going on here. Actually, maybe I won't highlight stop run. I need to make a new tag. Entry good, exit good. Wouldn't change anything on there. Calm, content. I think I was patient waiting for this to set up, and I was very clear on this. Green star. I want to tag this. I'll put it under approach. So let's do a new approach tag. What I can do actually. No, I'll keep that. I'm just looking at these and seeing if there's anything else. Yeah, approach. Say A plus trade. Change scalp to be like slightly different color maybe. Do like a lime green. E plus trade, and then I also wanted to be technical. What was that? Doji, yeah. Maybe I'll do white for that. Doji. Alright. Let's put that in there. This looks good. Let's go back to this trade. Throw Doji on there and also throw E plus trade on there. Cool. I like that. So I'm going to cut my review there. I think that's a good first half of the session right there. again, I really think I should have ended my session there. If I did, I would be up, let's see, I'd be up 18 ticks, which is a great fucking session, had I ended my session there. Um, but I'm not going to beat myself up too much about it. I will circle back later today, probably, to film or record the second half of this review, at which point I will get the rest of these trades done and upload this before I trade next. So I will be back for the next half.
All right, this is part 2 of my review from, when was this? This was July 22nd. This is where we left off. Trade 5, 13 tick profit. This is where I wish I had ended my session. You can see here I had some free time over the last day or so to tag these subsequent trades, but we're going to go through them and annotate each one. So start with the one right after. This is a 4 tick loss. I'm going to let this play. Yeah, so I think right away you could tell this was a poor trade, because just a couple seconds after entry, I'm already trying to get out of it, and I do a decent job of getting out of it at a 4 tick loss, but I could have been a little bit more aggressive on my exit. So let's break down exactly why this was a poor trade. I need to open my screenshotting software. So first things first, we are mean mid. Mean mid, meaning I'm going long in the middle of this range here, and while like mid rolls are sometimes valid, I feel like in this instance it's pretty clear we could easily go down to the bottom of this range down here. Second thing is V flush. We V flushed the top of this right here. V flush top side, meaning there is momentum downward. So I'm essentially catching a knife. We also broke out of this slip range. Slip range. And that is also breaking out to the downside. So there's a lot of downward momentum here. I think a short would have been much more valid. We also have reclaim down here. And a clear resistance up here. Clear resistance. Claim. Now my entry was, I feel like it was 34.50. So I think I entered around here. And then I'm gonna end up exiting somewhere around here. I should have let the video play a little bit, but let's go with it anyways. Entry, my exit, and I am not going to do ideal entry or exit because I should not have taken this trade. Second long, minus 4 ticks. Okay. Ignoring important context. Most notably, B flush of medium time frame range and fail of resistance. Yeah, slash reclaim fade. Good. All right, let's paste that in there. I'm trying to think whether or not there's anything I could have done differently here aside from not take the trade, and I don't think there is. I think I just should not have taken this trade, and I think even some of the best traders in the world, I mean, they sometimes take trades they shouldn't have taken. What's important is that I am highlighting what I missed in terms of context, and I'm doing my best to remember that for future sessions. Next trade is 1 tick loss. Again, trying to long. All right, so instantly you could tell there's a little micro slip range here, probably 5 ticks wide, and I entered at the very breakout of it. It looked like it was breaking out, and I took it to the long side. Now, this, in my opinion, is a better trade than the last one I took. I think we're further down towards the bottom of the range, and if I'm not mistaken, I think I get shaken out of this trade, meaning it goes on without me when I close it. I do like this trade a lot more. That being said, where I entered was kind of a pinch area, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute. But you can see pretty much instantly, had I just been a little bit more patient, I would have gotten a better fill on this pullback, on this slip pullback. So I get out there for 1 tick loss because my entry was horrible. I got in at the very top of the range. Whereas had I been just a little bit more patient, it would have been pretty easy to get in at like 31s, 32s. So let's watch the rest of this video play out and pretend that I'm long at 31 or like 3150, 3175. See, it just would have ripped in my favor. So this is an important one for me to visualize. And I'm going to do just that. Let me draw this one up first, actually, before I get into visualizations. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit to the point where I take the trade off. All right, I think that's good. So screenshot this here. And the first thing I want to highlight is this beautiful slip range here. Slip range. And then pinching again. I need to make sure I'm not entering on these pinches. Um, exits. This would have been the ideal entry. Ideal entry. I'm going to move this pinch up here. And a clear break of the range on momentum. This probably would have been ideal exit. We had a bunch of reclaim on it. We are technically mid-favor. Got some reclaim. Established slip range. Model slip range. Volume confirmation comes later. All right, and then I'm going to write a blurb. Excuse me. Execution was piss poor. Pinch, slip against, shaken out. Oh yeah, that's a bummer, dude. That could have been a really, really good trade. And that just goes to show how important it is to have slip favor on these fucking trades, man. It's so important. All right. I'm happy with that. Let's paste that in here and upload. Any other tags I want to change? I'm gonna slap fear on that because I was afraid of the trade coming back on me. And I think the intentions of this was to hold it. I had a reclaim working for me, mid favor. Yeah, I think that's it. Could have been an excellent range or an excellent trade. So let's go ahead and visualize this for a moment. Just going to increase the playback speed. All right, so I'm going to visualize myself not getting in where I do. All right, so I'm going to do some breathing exercises. I'm going to do a couple Wim Hof breaths for about 15 seconds. And I'm going to play the video and imagine that I'm not getting long here and that I'm patient. And I'm going to think about patience and I'm going to think about waiting for the ideal entry opportunity. Okay. So I did those Wim Hof breaths, and I imagined myself entering back here at about 32:25. And it felt good. Even a premature entry back here still would have been good to hold through all this chop, because that's only 2-3 ticks of chop. And if it goes 2-3 ticks against me, that's fine, Whereas in reality, this trade went against me like 6 or 7 ticks, So it's like, would I rather eat 3 or 4 ticks of drawdown and sweat a little bit, or would I rather eat 7 or 8 ticks of drawdown and be jumping out of the trade as soon as it comes back? It's like I'm willing to hold longer because I got in down here. So I pause the video here just because I want to reset. I'm going to do another 15 seconds Wim Hof and imagine that I am still long into this move. I'm going to see how it reacts to the top side liquidity here at 33.50 and judge whether I should exit the trade. So all right, that's where I would have taken the trade off. So I imagined myself long at 31.75, and I imagined myself holding through that test, holding through the momentum. I think we got like these 3 pretty solid bars in a row, and then this big pop. And after a big pop like that, it's either I immediately hit the offer or I wait to see if it stalls. And after that first little stalling candle, I probably would have gotten out realistically at like 34.25, maybe. So solid 2-point trade had I just gotten the mean favor on that. I feel a lot better about that. I feel like this was such a great trading opportunity. I fumbled it, and that happens. But the important part is that I'm sitting down here right now and diagnosing that and moving forward. So let's write a note down here. I'm just going to say poor execution, great setup, should slip favor. Slip or nothing. All right, a couple 4-tick wins. These are to the long side. Channel breakout, it looks like. I'm entering on a pullback, which is good. Let the audio play. So I got the point. Let's just see what happens. It does keep running a little bit. I realistically maybe could have gotten like 6 or 7 ticks out of that, but I'm not going to be too harsh on myself for that. So I'm just going to do a quick annotation on this one. I'm not going to do anything major because it was a good trade. 15 seconds plus 4 ticks long. Model sleep range. Should write down. Break it out up. With precedence. With precedence times 4, because there were four of these struggle grinds down that you can't see that were working. Yeah, there's not much else to explain other than that. So let's go into my entry. And I think this was my exit. And I think my ideal exit might have been the break of this candle right here. Ideal exit, maybe 2 or 3 more ticks out of that. Micro slip range. Good. That's it. It's simple. Simple move. Maybe I might highlight the. Hey, what's up, Yuki? Yeah, no worries. What's up? Let me tell you in a second. I'm just annotating a chart right now, so I can't like click around for some reason. Follow confirming update. Okay. Copy that. Paste. Upload. Okay. You're talking about the screenshot I posted in prop. A+1. Yeah, we went on to range that turned into a motherfucker of a range for a while. Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually I'm reviewing that session right now. That was my 13 tick trade. Right, yeah. And then after, I don't think I could have gotten much more out of that trade because we kind of hovered in the top end of the range for a long time. Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair fucking point. Mm. Well, and it's interesting you say that because the subsequent move after that, so after I nailed that short trade, right? and then it kind of reversed and it V-flushed the top end of that doji area. So you're right in a way that they did come back and quote unquote break out. It just happened to be a failed breakout. They V-flushed back in. Yeah, it's interesting price action. There's a lot of interesting price action that day. That's funny. Now, I agree on the mid roll. I think on the mid roll, it would have been a great opportunity to go long. I could send you a screenshot of what that looks like. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No, I do agree in a sense. We've been these doji areas are very new, a new concept to us. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it like V flushes and then it continues to range for like 2 more hours. Yeah, it was an eventful day. I'm still recording. I still have so many fucking trades to review, so I have to keep cracking away on that before I trade today. Yeah, no, you're good, dude. It was an interesting one. So I'm gonna keep recording. You can hang out here with your mic muted or whatever if you want. Listen to me. It's probably gonna take a while. I'll share my screen just so you know if you're curious, you can watch. All right. So this is my next trade, 4 ticks win, and I think it was quite a while after. Yeah, so my last trade was up here. I essentially sat on my hands for half an hour. So let's watch it. I'll play audio on it. So that was a pretty quick trade. Let's watch that again. So I move it up 1 tick, 30.25. Fat Cat says to scalp it, which is exactly what I plan to do. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, this is such a monster. I figured I may as well review it or record it instead of writing a review. So if I fast forward the video a little bit, you can see I could have held it a little bit longer, but I think that's a little. Yeah, I know you would have, you crazy French bastard. And I do think we actually end up reclaiming the whole thing. It was a great setup. However, to add context to what I was thinking at the time is for basically the last week we've been fading reclaims. So there's this big fat fucking reclaim here, and if I fast forward to I think I look at the 30-minute first briefly. Yeah, So right here, we also have this huge reclaim that we tested 1, 2, 3, 4 times on the 30-minute, and we never took it back. Same thing with this reclaim back here. We tested it a bunch in the overnight session, never took it back. There's even a reclaim back here. You can see that we did end up taking it back, but we tested it so many times before we went through it. So I was very hesitant to trade all the way through big reclaims because we were struggling so much to take them out. That's kind of why I wanted to scalp this. I was also, I think I was trying to bankroll. So let's see. Yeah, go for it. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I never considered that. Um, mm, yeah. 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 Mm, yeah. Yeah. No, that's a good point. Look here. Yeah. 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 No, and that's a good point. And this was like a very, very good setup for me. I just wasn't in the state of mind to hold things. And you'll see later. Yeah. And it did end up coming back after this move. It goes all the way to the top. So again, they're testing these reclaims to see like they it looks like they're going to take it back, and then they test it, and then they pull back, and then they're going to go through it. Which is something. This is good context for me to remember before I trade today. Yeah, yeah. They create a range, they blow it out, and then they trade back through it. Yeah, yeah. It's good price action, dude. There's been a lot of really good price action lately. So let me screenshot this one. I think had I gotten an ideal entry or exit, it would have been up here for 6 or 7 ticks instead. So let's screenshot that. This is the 30-second. Takes long. We are clearly V flushing. And accepting into range. There's a fat old reclaim here. That's not what I wanted. And then I noticed we're kind of stair stepping. think I could have gotten a couple more ticks out of that realistically. Just volume confirming up move. I would even say this is volume confirming up move. Simple. Yeah, I think that's it. Excellent trade. Slip favor. Reclaim assisted. B flush. Below. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, I like that one a lot. And then let's listen to this for a minute. So now I'm short here for a couple different reasons. And this ends up, I don't know, well, I'll wait until we watch it to say anything. The reason I was short here was because we had so many dojis on the 15 second. So we had 1 doji, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 dojis in this area, and we failed this reclaim. And we had precedents of failing these reclaims from before. So I felt like it was a good reclaim fade. However, I think in hindsight, no, actually not in hindsight, I think I missed the context that we had V-flushed. I don't think I should be going short against a V-flush that had just happened. Now, as I play it, you'll see that there were short opportunities, but I don't think that they were great expected value. I think I should have been long biased here. Yeah, yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah, I think it was a good for scalp. Execution you'll see is piss poor. I get in at a really good price, like slip favor. It's kind of barcoding, so it's not really slip, but it's still at the top of this little range, you know. And I should have taken it out at the bottom of this test here, but I don't. I think at this point I was getting a little too I was getting fatigued, and I think I was too excited about these dojis. I was like, oh, they're putting in dojis, they're gonna fail it, they're gonna fail it. When in reality, it's like it's yeah, and I think it does, but not before it tests my entry again, and I get shaken out of it. I take a loss here. I think I take a 1 tick loss, or so it comes back on me a bunch, and then I think I take so 2 tick loss, and then if we watch it, yeah, it goes without me, and I think I try to get back in it, but I don't get filled. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. 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 And it would if we keep watching. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. So let me watch this again. Comes back on me, and I take it out here. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, but and if I had just a better, like one thing we realized yesterday and that I failed to implement in my trading was that whenever they put in a big wick like this or like a big spike, it's immediately going to suck back in, you know? So I kept entering on these tight areas like this when I should be waiting for a spike. And if I don't get one, that's fine. The trade goes without me. But these, yeah. Mm, yeah. So I'm going to, yeah, I think so. Actually, let me check what time I work. If I have to spend all day doing this review, then then it is what it is, you know. But depends. No, you're good, man. So I work at 1. The next couple trades are all the same setup essentially, so I should be able to breeze through those pretty quick. Yeah, let me call him and get him up because I think he's gonna want to like go to the store or whatever the fuck. And then by the time he gets back, I should be ready to trade. One sec. All right. Yeah, I couldn't get through to him. He's fucking out cold. Anyways, we'll keep trucking along with this review here. Yeah, I think that's it. This would have been good for 4 ticks, but for whatever reason, I was expecting more out of it, and I couldn't afford to hold it any longer because of my poor entry. Had I entered um, on like a pullback like this, it just would have afforded me more breathing room. hmm Yes, but I don't like that it's like compressing right here. Um, yeah, pure scalp. Yeah, exactly. This is where things get messy because now I start shorting here and I fall in love with an idea. I say that, but that's exactly what we're doing. We're accepting into it. Yeah, it keeps steamrolling against me. Where do I end up getting out? Oh, it gives me a little bit of profit, man. Get out, get out, get out. Go 2 ticks profit. So I think I managed a shitty trade well, but it was a shitty trade because like it's pretty clear we're gonna trade through this, and we do. We ended up going right the fuck through it a couple minutes later. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did miss. I did definitely miss context on the higher time frame. So, Mhm. Right. And then I think volume is against me, at least where I entered. Where was my entry again? I think my entry was back here somewhere. Entry. I think an ideal entry would have been exactly on the break of this low right here. Ideal exit would have been here. My exit ends up being actually pretty close to that. I'm just on the wrong side of the V. I held it too long. And I do think there is a difference in doing so. Actually, no, I'm going to get rid of these because yeah, and but I think more importantly than that, I don't think I should have been trading here at all. I know I managed a poor trade well, but I clearly, like I don't see anything pointing short here other than fading this reclaim. But fading reclaims is so discretionary, you know. Like there's not enough EV in fading a reclaim for me. Hmm. Yeah, 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 yeah. I strongly agree with that. And I don't even think Fat Cat fades reclaims. That's kind of something that I've developed in my own system. Yeah. Mhm. So what I might do for this last one is I might compile all of my entries because I'm trading the same setup essentially. So let's see. I just want to make a note of my entries. Switch Discord over here real quick. Okay. And these entries were at 36.75, 36, 33. I think I get a lot of MFE on this one too. Sheesh. Yeah, I was in this one for a while. That's where I get stopped. That was like 16 ticks because I moved my stop multiple times. You could see me moving it during the trade. Yeah, I was expecting this to be like a 20, 30 tick winner. Like I was really expecting to hold this one. Yeah, that's what the idea was. But we put in this range in the upper half, and we hadn't done that before. We hadn't ranged in the upper half of the range prior to it, which I think is a sign of consolidation before a breakout. So I'm going to highlight exactly that. So, yeah. Changing characters. So, what do I want to do for entries? Um, So I tried shorting this multiple times, and I'm going to. Actually, I shouldn't use green. I'll do. So I tried shorting it here. I tried shorting it here. I tried shorting it. Looks like I tried shorting it here. And my last one was a couple minutes later, I think, like here or something. So down here, I'll do. Entry. Four entries, all losers. And then right here, yeah, this is ugly. Minus 16 ticks last trade. Yeah. So I traded this area multiple times. They were all losers, and I took one big 16 tick loss at the end. Doji area, which I had interpreted as reversal, but actually ended up being consolidation before a breakout. Prices put it in micro range in the upper half of the larger range, which is a change in character. Why not? Oh, nice. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. All right. I'm going to paste that in every one of these because they were essentially the same setup. Yeah, that was tough, man. Yeah. 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 Exactly. Yeah. All right. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mute myself and I'm gonna do some Wim Hof breaths, and I'm just gonna imagine I'm gonna play this on 2x speed, and I'm gonna imagine watching all this price action without trading it, just watching. All right. All right. So I'm going to do some Wim Hof breaths. All right. So what I tried to imagine there was that these were pulse checks, and that my pulse checks were wrong, and that's okay. That's me trying to get a read on the market, and it wasn't working, and that's totally fine. And sometimes you just need to sit and observe instead of trying to trade everything, and that's what I imagined myself doing. I just imagined myself as being calm and waiting and just observing the price action, and if I don't see any opportunities, that's okay, because I've already had a good session. I can call it a day here and be done. It looks like the move that I was anticipating isn't working, and even if it does work, it's okay if it goes without me, because there's an abundance of opportunities. I don't need to trade every single opportunity. And I think if there's one thing that I could come away from this session with learning, it would be that there's such an abundance of trading opportunities. I do not need to sit here and trade every single setup, because there's always going to be another one. And if there's a really, really, really good idea, that just means there's more chance of me falling in love with it. It's more risk, you know. I think the best trades from this session were the simple ones, the easy ones, you know. The ones that didn't have a million factors to support, the ones that had maybe one or two factors of support. They worked instantly, you know, they were clean, easy trades. I didn't have to risk a lot on them, you know, and it's like, if I imagine this session before this trade or before this 10 tick loss, it's like, that's a great session. This is an incredible session. It's just these last 4 trades, you know, that really did me in, because I lost that abundance mindset and I started falling in love with ideas. And I think if there's one thing to take away, it's let it go. You know, if there's a really, really good idea, the red flags start going off. You know, it's because you're gonna try to hold that idea. I don't know what this obsession with holding is, but every trader seems to have it. And the moment you let go of that and you just accept that this trade is only good for a scalp, you're only going to get better. And I think that's the most important thing that I need to take from this session. So I'm going to end it there. I feel really, really good about this review. It was such a monster to record, but I'm glad I did it. I had to do it. I didn't have a choice. I think this was such an important learning opportunity. And I plan on rewatching this review many times in the future, just to understand, you know, what went wrong in the session and to carry forward those lessons from it. So yeah, that's my review from today.